And So now I would like to present Noor Ishaq and Rama Tayyar from Darul International School. Please welcome. Good morning, yes. I'm Noor Ishaq. And I'm Rama Tayyar. And we're journalists from the Jannah International School. Today we're going to be discussing a story that happened to us during Ramadan and 2020. Ramadan, a 30-day fast for billions of Muslims around the globe. In 2020, when COVID hit, lives went south. But how about the poor, whose lives were already hard as is? How were they going to survive the pandemic while resources were already limited? How are they going to break their fast without enough food? Some families don't have any food at all. We put on our masks and went to Abela to explore Jeddah old neighborhood. Throughout our mission, we saw the devastating states of these families, pregnant mothers, and young children. One specific child followed us around the whole time and told us about how hard it's been for him and his siblings since he was an orphan and needed to feed them. We left heartbroken since we didn't have anything to give them. We felt so grateful after and realized how the word Alhamdulillah has so much power. Days passed by and we couldn't seem to get that look on the child's face out of our heads. His eyes filled with tears and his clothes barely fit him. We couldn't bear the thought of doing nothing, so we asked a friend for volunteer groups that distribute food to the less fortunate. And that same day we decided to sign up. We went back to that neighborhood and coincidentally saw that same child with that same upset look on his face. We were more than glad to give him and his siblings food and clothing to not only them. We can proudly say that since then, it has been a tradition every year and during the month of Ramadan for us to go with volunteer groups to pass out food for the less fortunate, and it has been a great experience. So since Ramadan is right around the corner, we encourage every one of you to try to give a hand to those families in need, whether it's just water and dates or clothes that you no longer need. Thank you so much, Al-Hekma, for giving us this opportunity to present our speech during the World Speech Day.
MashaAllah, you are creative because you find the problem and then you put the this is the story. Who's next? So we are probably
So now, just welcome Papa Cindy and Jumana Sharif for their speech. Okay, let's welcome Papa Cindy and Vijay for their speech.
Good morning, everyone. Wafa, Cindy, and I are two very dedicated senior students from Darjan International School, and we are very, very proud to be here today at Al-Hekma World Speech Day. So let's get started. Next slide, please. Thank you. So, Ta'ara's human is a phrase that many of you in the audience may have heard before. And for those of you that are familiar with it, will also know that it has a very, very strong association with medicine. And that's because medicine is a very gray area. It's got many ethical dilemmas, let's say. And errors in it may lead to progress or death, as we'll talk about later on. But what about those of you in the audience who maybe aren't as familiar with medicine or this phrase? How does this have anything to do with you or ideas for a better life? Well, you see, this speech is a lesson for all of you. This speech is a lesson in what the surgeons who had to forego this transplant field had to learn. This is exactly what they had to go through and how you can learn from it, from their stories of failure and success. The first surgery was performed by this doctor, and it was a very great surgery, let's say. You see, he transplanted a heart from a car crash patient to another patient's chest. And it doesn't sound like much at first, but there's a few things you need to consider. First, it was a split-second decision. If he had waited any longer, the first patient's heart would have died and he wouldn't have been able to transplant it. He had to weigh out the risks in the matter of a few seconds or even minutes. Besides this, the tools he used back then were very, very primitive. They weren't even very clear-cut for heart transplant surgery. And so they were nowhere near as pristine and accurate as the tools we use nowadays. And so overall, this doctor, Dr. Christian Barnard, had taken a shot in the dark with all of the risks and all of the ethical dilemmas of what he had done just to propagate the field forward. And this is the story of the first surgeon. Welcome, on to you.
Okay, so now what you might be wondering is, after taking the heart out, but next, the big question that we left out. So do you think Dr. Barnard just took the first heart, kept it in his hand, and walked over to the next patient and gave it to him? No, that does not make sense, does it? So to store a heart, there are two methods, and no, it does not include storing hearts in a jar full of probably green liquid as seen in movies. So the two ways of storing a heart are cold hydrogen storage, where a heart is technically freezed, preserved almost. And the second method of storing a heart is the OCS device. And what the OCS device does is it keeps the heart beating in a big chest type of simulation, and so it is then transplanted into the next patient. Okay, so how is that relevant to us? How is that relevant to the initial introduction of the heart transplant? Okay, so 2 words, standstill surgery. So let's stop the patient's heart on purpose. Yeah, sounds like a logical thing to do. The other advancement of heart surgeries from that first risk taken has led us here, which is very ironic. So what a standstill surgery does, it freezes the patient to very negative degrees in order to stop circulation and stop the heart from beating, which essentially kills the patient, but not past the point of no return. So after the patient's heart is paused, doctors have 45 to 60 minutes to operate on the patient to save their lives. And why do they need to freeze the patient's body, kill them, in order to perform surgeries? For example, a brain aneurysm. Aneurysms are like blood clots in brains. If circulation wasn't stopped, it might pop, and then the brain will get damaged more, which is why we need to freeze the blood in the heart to stop from causing more damage. This is why surgeries will be very useful. After the 45 to 60 minutes are over and the brain surgeon is done operating on the brain, the heart surgeon can revive the heart again.
So great work. We have taken the heart out of the patient. We've even stored it in an organ care system, an OCS, and then we put it back in another patient after cooling the patient down. We must be sapiens, right? No, unfortunately, we're not. Because you see, there's this problem in any kind of organ transplant surgery, and it's rejection. The problem with the very first surgery in heart transplant was that the patient ended up dying of a problem associated with heart rejection. What's rejection, you ask? Well, it's what happens when the immune system of the recipient starts attacking the heart, new heart, because it doesn't recognize it as its own. And so the heart ends up dying, and it's like the net effect, the surgery is zero. It's like the surgeon hasn't done anything. And so when doctors started recognizing this issue, everyone just abandoned the field. They stopped doing the surgeries, and there were no more heart transplants, no news on that. But Dr. Christian Barnard, the very first doctor who pioneered this field, was the only person who kept it going. He kept operating, not carelessly, obviously. He did take care of his patients and prevented rejection, but he was the only person who kept his craft up while everyone else ignored it. Eventually, a new anti-rejection medication came out, and obviously it stopped rejection. And so the surgeons came back in and they continued operating. Some of you might say that this was the main reason that the field bloomed up all over again, because of the anti-rejection medication. But in reality, it was because Dr. Barnard had not left his field for even a minute. He never gave up on it. And that's a lesson we should learn from Barnard.
Okay, so after the first heart transplant, we have improved from 2D surgical microscopes to 3D surgical microscopes. The 3D surgical microscope was developed by a NASA astronaut surgeon. He made a surgical microscope, the acronym MARVEL. It stands for a type of, surgical microscope. And what it does is it has high resolution, fast image speed, and more accuracy, and panoramic areas and spaces to show more than what any other surgical tool could ever show. And that is in the span of what? Less than 100 years. If we've improved from the first heart transplant surgery to a MARVEL tool this fast, imagine where we could go in a few years from now. Imagine just how far medical advancements will continue to happen just because of that first piece taken. Okay, so to refer back to that. When we started this presentation, we started by saying that to err is human. The continuation of that phrase is to forgive divine. The surgeons who forgave themselves for their errors and learned from them and improved from them, rather than just taking it as a cue to give up, instead kept being motivated and continued trying and trying, are the reason we've come so far today. As Thomas Edison once said, I did not fail 1,000 times, I merely found 1,000 ways that did not work. So on his 1,001st try, he finally made electricity. If people stopped giving up on their dreams and got over the fear of what could have been or the fear of failure in general, and started learning from their mistakes and taking risks again and again, our world will improve at a faster rate, because with every failure, there's a lesson learned. So, to conclude, learn to use your faults to your advantage. That way, no fault will be a disadvantage.
Thank you everyone for listening to us.
Camille?
That's I can see the
We'd like to thank Darjana International School for these beautiful speeches. You did a great job, and we have a great group and people like you in your generation. You really did a great job. Thank you so much. We'll listen now to Linas Al-Halabi from Al-Hekma University. She will talk to us about the impact of effective communication on community development.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. I'm Dinas. Today I'm going to talk, inshallah, about the impact of effective communication on community development. So we will proceed from the guidance of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which moved all in communication, which moved all humanity from darkness to light, and he didn't speak out of desire. That it is a revelation that God taught him how to communicate in simple words. قال الله تعالى ولو كنت فظا غليظ القلب لانفضوا من حولك, which means in English, if you were rude and harsh-hearted, they would not disperse around you. So life from a point of view is a big school in which there are teachers and learners, and role are exchanged in it. The learners usually tends to receive experiences from the person with whom they communicate effectively and well. The experiences contribute to the development of society. So not every doctor, every teacher, every educated, and every scientist is distinguished in his word. But experience, good performance, and good communication with those around him are what determine the distinction of individuals, so that the distinction stems from those from whom they received experience with love, because they excelled in communicating with them. Thus, they communicated well with the members of the community, imparting knowledge to them and providing them with services. In conclusion, the more such people increase, the more sophisticated society will be. Let us make sure to communicate effectively with everyone around us to attract them to learn and continue the process of supporting community. Thank you.
Very good. Indeed, we do need these communication skills, whether verbal, non-verbal, written, spoken. We need these in our everyday lives. Next is a very effective speech from our student, from Al-Hekma University student, and that is Lamia Al-Shahri. She will tell us about indifference and the weight of identity. To you, Lamia.
So I'm going to be talking to you about the weight of identity. And the remembrance of Edward Said, from the Schweiz. He says, I am from here and I am from there, but I am neither there nor here. I have two names, which means in part. I have two languages that I long forgotten, which is the language of my dreams. I have an English language with writing, for writing, with yielding phrases, and a language in which heaven and Jerusalem converse, but that it doesn't appeal to my imagination. What about identity? I asked. He said it's self-defense. Identity is self-defense. What does he mean by identity is self-defense? To not understand the statement is a privilege in and of itself. My name is Lamia Shahri, and today I am privileged. I'm privileged because I am a part of the majority. I'm privileged because I am Saudi and I'm a Muslim, and the list goes on. And you may be thinking, well, of course, but a couple months ago, this would have been the same reason I was the minority. These identities are what I had to defend in my everyday life. These words, however, when I had moved to the United States when I was 7 years old, and I quickly became a part of the targeted minority at that time. And this has taught me the weight of identity. Not only did I quickly become a minority, but I had to face it at such a young age. Coincidentally, I was also 7 when I first realized the queer identity. When a man approaches me and my dad at the gas station and asks, "Are you guys Muslim?" My dad smiles and says, "Yes." And he said, "Well, you're not going to kill us, are you?" Well, firstly, I'm 7, but that didn't really matter. Up to that point, I had been unfamiliar with being associated with violence. Unfamiliar with violence altogether. Kill us? What does he mean? Kill us? This has been against everything that I have been taught.
but that also didn't matter. But as I got older, I started to realize that an event that I heard when I was 21 years old in a completely different country shaped my whole life experience and how others perceived me. And my identity became heavier when I was older and decided to wear the hijab. It was then that I was forced to defend this identity while walking to the store or while going to school. And although I can leave you with countless experiences over the past 15 years of living in America, I would rather leave you with a new perspective. What differentiates the weight of identity and why does it matter? I want you to imagine this. You and another person are running a race. You can't imagine that the life of you right there is so much different than yours. They keep stumbling and they keep falling. And although you have had a swift jog to the other side, there's a stumble obstacle. So what differentiates that race, that different size and identity? And certain obstacles are only experienced, I'll only see one experience. For example, my path as a Muslim Arab woman in America was much different than the path of a white Christian man in America. And although you may ask, well, isn't his path full of obstacles too? Well, I'm sure it is. There's nothing linear about life, but his obstacles were not placed there simply because of identity. They were placed there because of the complexities of life. And simply recognizing and being aware of this truth makes us more empathetic to those we consider to be the other. Thomas Pettigrew, a social psychologist who has studied prejudice for decades, said that the emotions of prejudice are formed early in childhood, while the beliefs that are used to justify it come later on. In other words, a word becomes valued in the heart of a child. A word can be the water that flowers a dormant seed. There are better conversations to have, funnier jokes to make. So we must be mindful of what we tolerate and allow that when little jokes or remarks go into injustice and discrimination, you can say that it wasn't for me that found amazing.
And now, we'd like to welcome to Al-Hekma University our students from Advanced Generations International Schools. We are very happy that you've come to join World Speech Day and to give your speeches today. And we will start with a creative speech called Taking the Initiative by the student Ratil Al-Shahri. Please welcome her with me.
Hello, this is Latia Shady, and my speech is about being initiative and being present. What if every single person in this world takes on their time and has social responsibility? Think of every single second people are spending while they are scrolling on their phones. Imagine if all those minutes were spent for social work. Imagine if all people took the initiative to volunteer for their communities. How would this be reflected in our world? By volunteering, we can know our available resources to solve our problems and get our needs. Also, we discover our hidden talents that may boost our self-confidence. Social responsibility has a significant impact on the economic development of country and the creation of well-being of the society members. It influences various economic processes and, at the same time, affects the level of poverty in countries. Our actions must benefit the whole of society. In this way, we can create the right balance between economic growth and the well-being of society. This could take the next generation to a better world. And be present, take the initiative and make it happen. Be involved, be proactive, make a difference in our world.
Thank you, Ratil. We are happy that more than one student knows that, and in their speeches, they indicated that by taking the initiative and helping the community, we actually are changing the world and making it a better place. Also talking about creating a better world will be Nadia Hijazi. Please welcome her.
There are many hardships that U.S. citizens must overcome and face and cannot be prepared about the world. We must deeply believe that what we're striving for is right, and that our efforts will eventually pay off. There is no easy way out from the problems that involve social change. Therefore, when we come into creating a better world, then we're 100% devoting ourselves and our time to that efforts. And in order to achieve this universal goal successfully, we must trust that the hard work people can matches. Global problems require global solutions. We also require citizens who are willing to fully contribute. In order for us to positively enhance the world, we are required to think strategically and take on more responsibilities. However, in order for this to happen, the society needs to come together and create ambitious goals and goals so that we can see make a global difference. The world as we know is unfortunately facing many global uncertainties, and we lack the initiatives powerful enough to solve these problems. We as citizens need to speak up and join together in order to create a better world for the generations to come. However, the biggest problems at the global level will emerge and satisfy most of us. And because of that, I think this is an area where young people can start to make an important contribution to society. In addition to that, the most rewarding tasks to accomplish are one with their major development and serving our community. That's way we will eventually begin to see a difference in the world in the future.
Thank you so much, Nadia. Next will be a speech about stopping littering, and this is coming from Rimas Bukshan. Please welcome her. Again, from Advanced Generations International Schools.
Hi, good morning. My name is Rimas Bukshan, and today I'm going to be giving a speech on why we should stop littering. One of the major environmental problems we're trying to have is littering. Everyone is impacted by littering, including people, animals, and environment. Just throwing a piece of plastic on the ground carelessly might cause storm drains or cause a piece of plastic to fall into the different harmful life. The hazards, bacteria, and germs that are spread by littering are helpless. Everyone must pay to clean up the environment's trash, as it can be done so easily and irresponsibly. Littering is the most significant environmental problem our country is currently facing. Most are unaware of how much money we spend here on cleaning up litter or how it impacts everyone, as it has become a habit. We have neglected to educate ourselves on how this will ultimately impact us. Because we are harming the world more, littering ought to be reduced or, if possible, fully stopped. Littering brings the three results from two primary causes: carelessness and sloth. Even though there is a garbage can nearby and a piece of trash in your hands, we simply throw it in the ground. Even when it's inadvertent, littering can become a commonplace. That's the trash we throw out will soon vanish into thin air and won't have an impact on the environment. We have no idea how much garbage we send wasted in small spaces that are thrown out windows. That's little fragments goes into a mountain of garbage that clogs small drains, needs water, and threatens wildlife. According to Nick Porter, sustainability involves conserving resources to prevent their depletion, preventing ecological process, and eliminating waste and pollution, so as to ensure that the society practice can continue and our civilization can endure. We could stop littering is very harmful for the environment and it causes so much problems for the world we live in. This is a major issue for our society, and I don't see enough people thinking about it. Here are some ways to prevent littering. Then keep it plastic bags to throw the trash. Then we throw it in its designated bin. We put it an environmentally friendly bin that changes our litter into electricity, separating our litter into plastic, paper, and metal. Thank you for listening.
ما شاء الله يعني الصوت لون ما شاء الله بس كمية slower these teachers بتفرق عن ما نسمع just a little bit slower بس إنه الصوت لون to the extent إنه الحين the flow is so amazing just a little bit slower.
All right, next we'll listen to a speech called AI's Impact on the World from the student Marianne Al-Tubayshi. Please welcome her with me.
Hello, I'm Madame Tabeshi, and today I'll be speaking about the benefits of AI. I was just on my phone one day and I stumbled upon something called AI. And I got curious, so I dug deeper and found out that artificial intelligence is the art of teaching computers and machines to think like humans. So I told myself, if machines are going to work like humans, if machines are going to think like humans, are they going to work like humans? The interesting thing is, yes, they can work side by side with humans. The benefit of this huge innovation is extraordinary. For example, if you have a tedious job such as checking documents for spelling errors over and over again, you can just get an AI machine to do it for you, like Grammarly. And can you believe that AI might even help end world hunger by determining which crops are poisonous even before they are fully grown and harm the other crops so the only edible crops are eaten? What fascinated me the most is that AI smartwatches like Apple Watches and Fitbits can detect early signs of a heart attack. So AI can even save our lives. As you can tell, AI is here to elevate and make our lives easier. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marianne. Next will be a speech about Green Initiative by a student from Advanced Generations International School, the student Layal Sikdi. Please welcome her.
Hello, good morning. The topic I chose to cover today is how we can move towards a greener world and the role of community plays. Saudi is working towards a greener future by launching the Green Initiative. Saudi is bringing consultants and industry experts from all around the world to address this issue to rapidly scale climate action. The kingdom, by taking this initiative, as of recently, we help achieve a greener future. This in turn creates economic prosperity, positive change towards the climate, and secure energy. Economic prosperity takes place when new job opportunities are created for Saudi new industry as a result of the new companies entering the market. As well as the economic prosperity that's happening, a positive climate change will also take place as we're burning less fuel and sourcing electricity through renewable energy. Therefore, it is safe to say that we are no longer dependent on oil as our main source of energy and fuel. Part of the Vision 2030 is to have more job opportunities. With the Rural Green Initiative, it is self-made responsible. Saudi has now found a way to stop relying solely on oil as the main source of income, while still being able to go greener. With this positive change, our community can raise its educational standards and new opportunities. We are more connected with the world through trade. Let's take use as an example. PIF acquired 65% of the company and created its first factory in Canada economic city to manufacture electric cars. The reason behind this decision was to produce more eco-friendly cars as part of the Global Green Initiative. The car's no-waste solution offers 100% recyclable materials. Soon after its launch in the stock market, the stock was heavily traded, thus affecting the economy. As Saudis, we're connecting with the world leaders to learn from international expertise while still giving back to our environment. As a community, let's clean the ocean for cycle more and work towards a greener planet for everyone.
Thank you, Layal. Next will be a topic that we haven't discussed yet on World Beach Day today, which is inequality. And this will be brought to us by Lara As-Sawab. Please welcome her with me.
Hello and good morning. Today I'll be presenting a speech about making the world a better place. The world is now horrible because of things that we did in the past and things that we are doing right now. The future of the world doesn't have to suffer the consequences that resulted from our actions. The world can become better in many ways if there is no racism, poverty, inequality, and discrimination. One way to make our world a better place is to erase all forms of racism from our world. Racism can come in many shapes and sizes, like the words people say or the actions they do. Racism can end if there are certain laws to stop these actions. Changing the laws can also stop people from committing vile actions against people of color. One specific example of this can be police brutality. If there are stricter punishments against officers who are bashing, hurting, and killing innocent people, then we are one step closer to destroying racism. Racism is definitely one of the world's biggest setbacks and must be put to an end if we want to move forward, which needs to happen. Aside from racism, poverty must also be stopped so that we can live in a better place. If people live in poverty, then they don't have enough money to afford basic human needs like food or water. We as a human race can be heroes to these people. We should donate to multiple charities that help out people in need so that those people would be able to get more money for food, clothes, water, any basics to live a healthy life. Moving on from poverty, I would try to change how people with physical and intellectual disabilities are treated and perceived. My hope is that people with disabilities will be welcome to share the amazing stuff this world has to offer. I think people with disabilities should become a vital part of the conversation on what it means to live fully. Discrimination against people with disabilities in favor of people who are not is called ableism or disableism. Disability discrimination, which treats non-disabled individuals at the standard of normal living, results in public and private places and services, education and social work that are built to serve standard people, thereby excluding those with various disabilities. There are several laws that address ableism, such as the Americans with Disabilities enacted on July 26, 1990 in the United States most far-reaching attempt to combat discrimination on the basis of disability. The purpose of the act is to define who is covered by it, what illegal discrimination is, and what the legal resources are. This law aims to protect those who have physical or mental disability. That limits the development of one or more of its core activities, such as seeing, working, walking, listening, or even just breathing. Although different countries' legislation provides for non-discrimination and is declared as a rare phenomenon in our society, however, discrimination is not eliminated by decree, neither by legislation. It is enough that someone feels discriminated so that there is from the perception of the one who suffered. We can say that there is discrimination. Disabled people sometimes feel some unfair treatment, arbitrary, different, and difficult to prove. But suggest that discrimination. This is bound to feel little attention from ordinary people. Certain treatment, which they say is different from what's given to the people who do not have disabilities, which can be both negative and positive. The obstacles they presented subjectively, the little solidarity they feel, among other phenomena. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. That was Lara Sawat telling us about inequality, which is, she told us about inequality in different aspects and areas in our lives. It's really an important topic to be discussed on World Speech Day. These speeches, and we continue with these speeches coming from Advanced Generations International Schools, giving their speeches at Al-Hekma University, and now we will listen to a speech called A Well-Known Speech by Mariam Darwish. Please welcome her.
Good morning to you. I'm Mariam Darwish and I attend at AGS. Making the world a better place sounds familiar, right? That could be because almost every public statement is about how and why the world can be. Now question yourself profoundly, how much change? This race is recognized differently by individuals, which contribute with us by revamping the living situation and daily acts to sustainable and suitable development for future generations. Common seen issues include poverty, poor education, government corruption, to find a solution. However, there are far more issues that current generation suffer from that need to be addressed. Take a look at what today's generation is like. Once I have a weak relationship with a girl, and you do not become acts of worship and choose a substantive activity. This is not the case hundreds of thousands of years ago. Coming from someone born in the 21st century, I want to see change. This generation is logically developed, as it is an advantage within consequences. First, school performance is severely damaged by increased screen time, aggression, and limited social interaction. Even after listing of effects, the general public still needs to realize that some candidates promote busier lives rather than professional. These are minor personal issues. Some severe global problems are not by fracture that need humankind to work together and learn to solve. Although these are unnatural disasters, we have all heard of the earthquake in Syria. So why do some people not seem to care about helping when they can even know it's the ground? Although the priests and having a more robust relationship with God may not fix all these issues, the help will realize to open it up for some cases, and hopefully to take measures. So as I said, to understand what is happening in the outside world will change. Once you start becoming more productive, you're aware of your surroundings, something is taking any needed actions. Feeling that sort of relief that a better change has happened, start with yourself before you take public and general. A significant problem is that many people can see these issues and know the solutions, nonetheless no course of action is performed. So let me ask you this. How can you see something you can solve but you not do? Doesn't this make you feel guilty? So wisely think it when you have the power of change. As Nelson Mandela said, you can change the world and make it a better place. It's in your hands to make a difference. So for your well-being and others, use the power you have and do not let it go to waste. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariam. Next, we will listen to a speech called Expensive Petrol, again by a student from Advanced Generations International Schools. And the student is Noor Al-Abbasi. Please welcome her with me.
Hello everyone, my name is Noor Al-Abbasi. Today I'm going to be presenting to a speech about expensive petrol. Are you tired of ever increasing prices of car petrol? Are you feeling the pinch of skyrocketing rates every time you fill up your gas tank? Well, you're not alone. Cost of petrol has been on rise for years and it has not been showing many signs of slowing down. It's a problem that affects everyone who owns a car, from the average person to the business owner who operates a fleet of vehicles. But what can be done to solve this problem? One solution is to switch to more fuel efficient cars that have better fuel economy can help you save money on petrol in the long run. These cars are designed to use less petrol, which means you'll be spending less money on petrol in the long run. Another solution is to carpool or use public transportation. Carpooling with others can help you save money on petrol since you'll be sharing the cost of fuel with others. Public transportation is also a great option as it allows you to save money on petrol while reducing your carbon. In conclusion, the problem of expensive car petrol is a major concern for everyone who owns a car. But there are solutions to this problem, such as switching to more fuel-efficient cars, carpooling while using public transportation, keeping your car well maintained, and driving more efficiently. By implementing these solutions, you can save money on petrol and reduce your carbon footprint at the same time. So let's all do our part in solving this problem and make our planet a better place to live.
Thank you, Noor. It's astonishing and very interesting that our youth at this age, they are discussing such important topics. Next will be a topic that we need to really consider because it is a very important topic, which is world hunger. And this is coming from a student from Advanced Generations International Schools, giving her speech at Al-Hekma University. The student's name is Lana Al-Humayshi.
Good morning. My name is Dana Higashi and I am from Advanced Generation International School. Today, I will be talking about how to solve world hunger. And if there is a way to, I will find it. Before, didn't we all feel like we're about to go hungry? When you miss meals occasionally, does your tummy sometimes start to growl? Well, there are people that must go hungry every day all around the world. Did you know, according to the United Nations, 10% of people globally are at risk of world hunger? The crisis caused by wars, climate change, and COVID-19 pandemic led to this significant increase in the numbers of affected people. Recorded from the United Nations, 14 million children suffer from severe acute malnutrition. 45% of child deaths worldwide are due to world hunger and related causes. 700 children die each day, from illnesses caused by dirty water and unhygienic living conditions. Food and Agriculture Organization mentioned that in 2021, hunger affected 20.2% of people in Africa, 9.1% in Asia, and 8.6% in Latin America and in the Caribbean. So, what can we do to help these people? Start off, we need to end this non-ending cycle of conflict and hunger. Too many people suffer from this specific issue. We must increase the sustainability and face climate change, heat waves, floods, and wildfires increase as sea levels and global temperatures rise. It is challenging for farmers to raise food under those conditions. In addition, we should reduce food waste and loss, but there are 820 million hungry people in the world. Food waste costs $750 billion annually. Another way is to eliminate malnutrition for mothers and children, as it is a poor health and hygiene setting. Lastly, making sure social safety networks and donations address poverty and inequality. Poverty is one of the primary causes of world hunger. Remember, today's actions draw the picture to the future, and as Gandhi said, there is enough on this planet for everyone's needs, but not for everyone's greed. Thank you.
Thank you, Lana. What's outstanding about Lana's speech, I noticed, is that it's well researched, right? She did her homework well. Thank you, Lana. The next speech is called "Be the Reason the World is a Better Place," and this is coming from a student at Advanced Generations International Schools, giving her speech at Al-Hekma University, and the student's name is Judy Dahdouli.
Good morning. My name is Judy, and today I'll be sharing ideas for a better world. We can all admit it. There has been a colossal number of calamities that have occurred in this world, from deadly illnesses to ravaging natural disasters, from pernicious inequality to detrimental climate change, global warming, and pollution. We as humans have the right to admit that what we have done to this planet is not right. The trash that you aimlessly thrown into the sea, thinking it will wash away, when a trash can lay 2 meters away, but your mind just couldn't think more wisely. The way that humans have treated others just because they don't dress the same way and don't blend in with society. According to Nelson Mandela, who has fought for the rights of his people, we can change the world and make it a better place. It is in your hands to make a difference. To start off, we must enhance the preservation of nature and prioritize nature-friendly transportation and infrastructure. Moreover, we must use renewable energy sources more efficiently. Most significantly, we must raise awareness to stop polluting the environment. Furthermore, we must make mental health and well-being more common. In fact, a significant percentage of individuals undergo and suffer from bullying, inequality, and unequal treatment as a result of circumstances beyond their control, or because they appear to be different. This may result in worry, melancholy, and a hard heart that cares little for other people. As a result of these unfavorable situations and mindsets, millions of people have poor mental health. This has an adverse impact on people as well as the environment. As a result, I believe that we should continuously practice spreading optimism, friendliness, and giving in our daily lives. According to Albert Einstein, if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Access to healthcare is a further issue that has to be addressed. Everyone needs access to high-quality healthcare, whether they live in a developed or developing nation. A recent report from WHO and World Bank Group reveals that 400 million people lack access to basic healthcare services. As well as healthcare, there has been a lack of education in developing and sporadically developed countries. In fact, statistics show that 244 million children and youth are out of school. I strongly hold on to the fact that every child or teenager deserves good quality education, which supports their future and our future generations. Although it sounds difficult and easy for me to say, foreign conflict has created a colossal negative impact on the lives of those who are in the conflict. Therefore, I find that we must try our best to unite as humans hand in hand to make this world a safer, better place. To wrap this off, I would like to thank you for your attention and support. I would like to repeat and persist that we have to make a difference in this planet. How many times have you thought to yourself, I need to make a change, a difference? I would like to end this off with some meaningful advice. Change will always start with one place, and soon there will be millions. A quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson: do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail.
Okay, whoever comes next will stand here and then. Okay, so that will show better. Thank you, Judy. Next will be a speech called Education in Video Games. Don't you all like this topic? This is coming from a student at Advanced Generations International School giving her speech at Al-Hekma University, and the student's name is Mariam Al-Abdali. Please welcome her.
Hello, I am Benjamin Anthony from AGS. In today's speech, I will discuss the great benefits of video games worldwide. I will also discuss how they show a significant and positive effect on the lives of other people around the world. For years, video games have been accused of fueling violence among teenagers and children in today's global world. Various departments have started to make video games that will benefit kids and teens throughout their life. Video games will benefit people in many ways, such as by improving their problem-solving skills and logic. You may be asking yourself, but video games and education are not compatible. What if I told you I could change your mind? Nowadays, video games are one of the most popular items among children. Video games are designed to be engaged and challenging, which encourages problem solving and encourages kids to think critically. Additionally, video games can help children to develop communication, collaboration, and social skills that can be helpful in the real world. Finally, video games also provide a safe environment for kids to explore and learn new concepts in a way that is enjoyable and engaging. Educational video games can provide even greater benefit to children. These games are especially designed to teach children about various topics such as science, math, history, and more. By playing these games, kids can learn new concepts in a fun and interactive way. Additionally, these games can help kids develop important skills such as problem solving, critical thinking, and collaboration. According to a new study, children who play video games for 3 hours or more perform better on intelligence skill tests than those who have never played them.
Thank you, Mariam. Video games, education and video games will be interesting. Next will be a speech about being heroes for a better world. And again, we have a student from Advanced Generations International School giving her speech at Al-Hekma University. and the student's name is Lana Gazzat. Please welcome her with me.
Good morning and welcome to all people listening here. Today, I am here to share ideas of how we can provide people in our future generation a better world. We can do that through sustainable development, but what's sustainable development? It is enabling all people to satisfy their basic needs and enjoy a better quality of life without compromising the future generation's life. A very popular African proverb says, "We cannot enhance the strength from our humans through large and our children." It all starts by being kind to one another and passing this kindness to other people, right? Sustainability is all about long-term saving of energy and resources. It is about inventing and creating new technology without harming our environment and future. As an example, greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane are affecting the earth, and it has led to escalation in temperature, which resulted in the number of ice caps leading to rise levels and sea levels. We can stop the pollution by reducing factories and by the usage of eco-friendly technology, like electric vehicles and systems of cars. We can also follow the 3 R's approach with food. All these ideas are very good ways to be sustainable and become one step closer to our goal, which is providing a better world. We should also spread awareness of environmental education out there, age support. So how about we change the world? By doing these things, being sustainable, and taking care of our environment. We can be heroes together for the future. Together we can change the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Lana. We listen now to Ratil Al-Shadri talking about taking the initiative. Please, Ratil, welcome her with me.
Hello, this is Ratil Al-Shadri, and I'm talking about being initiative and being present. Look at every single person in this world takes from their time and has social responsibility. Think of every single second people are spending while they are scrolling on their phones. Imagine if all those minutes were spent for social work. Imagine if all people took the initiative to volunteer for their community. How would this be reflected in our world? By volunteering, we could know our available resources to solve our problems and get our needs. Also, we discover our hidden talents that may boost self-confidence. Social responsibility has significant impact on the economic development of the country and the creation of well-being of the society members. Its influences various economic processes and at the same time affects the level of poverty in the country. Our actions must benefit the whole of society. In this way, we can create the right balance between economic growth and the well-being of society. This could take the next generation to a better world. Be present, take the initiative and make it happen. Be involved, be proactive, make a difference in our world.
Thank you. That was Ratil Al-Shadri from Advanced Generations International Schools giving her speech at Al-Hekma University on World Speech Day.
Hello, my name is Jemima Faisal. Oppression. Words, the world's list of horrendous things has oppression in gold. Many times words that have power would make your mind automatically think of the story behind what is forgotten. I do not wish to discuss history, though it is valuable. I want to discuss about the future and now. Oppression can be defined by 5 phases: exploitation, powerlessness, marginalization, cultural equalization, and 5th, violence. Exploitation, to use someone for your own gain and sometimes even with their labor not being fairly compensated for. In every age has been the tyrant, the oppressor, the exploiter, who has wrapped himself in a cloak of patriotism or religion, or deceive and overawe the people. Eugene Victor Debs. Powerlessness. They simply do not have any power to fight back nor protect themselves. In situations of captivity, the perpetrator becomes the most powerful person in life of the victim, and psychology of the victim is shaped by the action and beliefs of the perpetrator. Marginalization. Excluding a certain group of people to being on the edge of society. Resources are limited in many schools. However, we prioritize and dismantle systematic oppression. If we prioritize the needs of our marginalized students, we can find support, money, and resources that we need. Elena argument. Cultural influenzation is neglecting other cultures and have only one culture represent society. They weren't like us, and for that reason deserve to be ruled. Edward W. said, violence for people to use physical harm and fear to control. It is not a real choice if the only other choice is brutality. I say, oppression's 5 faces has tortured many in small or big ways. They have happened through history. We continue to repeat as though it's a daily routine or an annual event. I want the world to be a better place, sparing the innocent lives and stop the torture of the innocent by spreading awareness. Know that the past stories are not the meanings themselves. The future will come in different scenarios with ways of oppression that we will see the same faces and the same meanings.
Thank you, Jumana. Next is an urgent message. It's called Help the World, and this is coming from the student in Advanced Generations International Schools. The student is Sultana Abdul Hakim. Please welcome her with me.
Good morning, my name is Savannah Abdul. Today I will be discussing how to make the world a better place. Light pollution is affecting the world, like air pollution, land pollution, and water pollution. Examples: smoking, waste, littering in the ocean. Air pollution can cause a lot of diseases that harm people. To avoid air pollution, people need to stop smoking and breathing. Factories and flare gases can even cause air pollution. We have to stop and avoid all of these things so our country can be more cleaner and healthier. Land pollution can affect a lot of people physically. People prefer to litter on the floor. Litter on the floor can be recycled to help our country. To recycle, we have to avoid recycling bins and put efficient liners so people can learn to avoid littering. Water pollution can affect a lot of animals. To prevent water pollution, stop wasting water because water goes to the ocean and can affect animals. Oils and gases are even polluting the ocean after it's used. To stop water pollution, refrain most wasting water and use oils and gases sparingly. When you go to the beach, throw your litter in the Please help others to prevent littering, make the world a better place, help people who are in need, be kind to another person.
Thank you. That was Sultan Abdul Hakim. Our next speech is A Better World by Salim Al-Masri. Please welcome her with me. Salim.
Good morning, fellow students and teachers. I want to share some ideas with you today that I think can improve the state of the planet. Climate change and inequality are only two of the numerous problems our planet is currently facing. It's up to us to find solutions that will lead to a brighter future for all of us. I want to start off by suggesting that we promote sustainability. If we want the planet to care for us, we must do the same. We can achieve this by using fewer single-use plastics, recycling, using less water and energy, and promoting eco-friendly businesses. By making small changes to our everyday habits, we have a big impact on how well our environment is protected. Promoting equality is the second idea. No matter what their ethnicity, gender, or religion, everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. We may do this by standing up against discrimination, giving our support to organizations that promote equality, and teaching ourselves and others on the significance of variety and tolerance. Third concept is to support education. A brighter future for ourselves and our communities can be achieved via education. Supporting libraries and schools, promoting changes in financing and policy for education, and supporting educational initiatives that support adults in gaining new skills are all the ways we can contribute. Fourth suggestion is to encourage kindness. Making someone's day better can be done with a tiny act of kindness. To do this, we can carry out random acts of kindness, donate our time to a neighborhood charity, and encourage compassion and empathy in all aspects of our everyday life. And finally, I think it's important to foster peace. For a better world, peaceful coexistence is essential. We may achieve this through promoting communication and understanding, finding peaceful solutions to conflicts, and supporting international efforts to establish peace. To sum up, there are many concepts that we can adopt to build a better society. We can have a positive influence on the world and create a better future for all, supporting sustainability, equality, education, kindness, and peace. Keep in mind that we are the ones who initiate change, and we are always responsible for improving the world. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Salim. Our next speaker is going to tell us about our better world, and the speaker is Maria Qabli. Please welcome her with me.
Good morning, my name is Maria. I'm honored to be here and to be given the opportunity to speak about rising content of our generation. It has been a problem sentence. It has been a problem for many of our educators. That is the environment and the pollution that results in disease. A healthy environment should be the new norm. The United Nations Human Rights Council recently passed a resolution requiring states to protect human rights, including by taking stronger actions on environmental challenges. Here are some of the ways that the first planet is now a comprehensive human rights. The destruction of world-based archives the infection of disease. Air pollution reduces quality of life and lower life expectancy. Biodiversity loss minus the right and the natural value of food. Biodiversity loss also reduces the growth and diversity of the individual. Pollution is the great definitely billions worldwide. Therefore, resulting from calling on states to reverse, protect, and restore ecosystems and will be crucial in human health. Some 69 states committed to engage in work. We want more to join, and it starts with us.
Thank you, Maria. Our next speech is called Reducing Plastic by Mayar Abou. Please welcome her. Okay, Mayar will tell us about making a difference in the world. Please welcome.
How to make the world a better place with how we live by minimizing your use of plastic in your daily life. For example, don't use plastic salt in the morning coffee. You can use metal straws because if you use metal straws, they're reusable, so every day you don't need to waste a piece of plastic that can go in streets and seas and making places it shouldn't be. And by doing the simple action of minimizing your plastic use, you are saving many skin. And another way of minimizing your plastic, drink out of reusable water bottle instead of a plastic version. And you can also buy a plastic bottle. This is just gonna go to waste and hurt skin. So don't use plastic in your daily life. Instead, minimize it and people can have a better result.
That was Mayar Abou from Advanced Generations International Schools. Next is the world going to be better in 2030? Let's see with Yara Sabban. Please welcome her. Yara is also a student from Advanced Generations International School.
Hello and good morning, everyone. My name is Yana Saban, and today I'll be discussing on what we can do to help the world be better in 2030 instead of using technology. Imagine you in 2030 living a great life and the world is in suitable conditions. But it's not that easy. But that's what most people think at the moment. They don't think about what we can achieve in 2030, but they're thinking of what to do with technology in 2030 and how to live. But it's not that magical considering that governments and leaders of the world try to achieve a bunch of things with technology. Do you think that multitude would like to achieve something rather than technology? Each generation, people have different mindsets and have different mindsets on how they consider the world. Therefore, there's a slight quantity of people nowadays who volunteer to share ideas to help our community rather than use technology. This wouldn't change the world for the better, in fact, for nothing. Well, by now you're probably wondering what could produce this world a reasonable place for this generation and for faith. Well, at the moment, I'm going to speak and describe things that would make life better in 2030 for our community. The 2030 vision. Saudi Arabia's vision is a pathway to the future revealed in 2016. It represents a transformative and powerfully enterprising plan to unlock the kingdom's vast possibility and world-leading nation for the honor of future generations. There are many goals for 2030, for example, a healthy and stable population, world-class education, and resident participation in cultural, entertainment, and sports activity, which helps us more with communicating between people and more friendships. The most important thing is that 2030 doesn't only focus on letting people learn about technology, but for our community and learning things by hand. What we can do physically to make the world better in 2030. We need young people to be educated on the value of physical fitness because physical fitness is what leads to holistic health. If you can enjoy yourself through physical activity, the relationship you see, the sense of community, and the sense of developing self-esteem, those are all valuable skills that we can learn from sports. It's a core of Vision 2030 to increase participation in sport. Therefore, it helps to build stronger communities by bringing people together. Research stated that being part of sports teams can mean more friends, which helps in reducing antisocial behavior. Talking about the environment, climate change is endangering the stability and future of our planet. So in a number of destinations, tourism encourages securing higher water quality and better protection of nature and local natural resources. It can develop supplementary resources to sponsor environmental infrastructure and services. Overall, it may be said that technology is what we only need for the next generation. But we also need people's motivation and talent without technology, and more important, friendly socially and hardworking people who have unusual skills to reveal to help the entire community make this. Thank you.
Thank you, Yara. We really did such a speech about the importance of physical activity, physical fitness, and sport, especially that we spend a lot of time in front of our devices and computers. So I really thank you, Yara, for this speech. Next is also a speech about how to make the world a better place, and this time it's coming from Jana Al-Harbi from Advanced Generations International School, giving her speech at Al-Hekma University. Please welcome Jana Al-Harbi.
Hello, I'm Janet Henry, and today I'm going to share some tips with you that are essential for have the power to completely transform how you see the world. How many people have made an effort to convince us to make the world a better place? There are millions of people, but no one tried to get it. Nobody wants to try it. Then most of us complain about how the world is toxic or that it isn't the best place to live in. Perhaps some of us find it difficult to improve the world because it is too difficult for us to do so. I'll share with you some simple things you can do to improve the world without making many changes to your daily routine. We can start by complimenting someone first. It sounds simple, doesn't it? And it is. Someone's day can be completely transformed by a compliment. Until you get used to it, you can praise at least one person each day. The happiest people in the world are those who make others happy. Don't forget toxicity, which includes both physical and mental toxicity. Physical and mental harm can be caused by littering, bullying, spitting, and other forms of disrespect. Reduce grades, because sometimes you're wasting without even realizing. This can result in a loss of food, water, or money. Be considerate and do not overspend, because some people in other countries cannot afford to do this without the same thing. Racism is another issue, and calling out racist jokes or statements is one way to stop it. Asking questions like any people can explain it can help you analyze someone's thought process if they make a racist joke. These are just a few of the many easy ways that you can gradually incorporate into your daily life to improve the world. Of course, there are countless other ways as well.
Thank you. That was Jana Al-Harbi, and she told us about her vision of making the world a better place. Next, I'm pleased to introduce the next speech because it's about the importance of education and how it will make the world a better place. This speech is by Al-Hekma from Advanced Generations International Schools, and she's giving this speech at Al-Hekma University. Haya, please come.
Hello, my name is Al-Hekma and I'm from Advanced Generations International School. As a citizen of the world, we have to acknowledge that we live together and not as separate individuals. We have to ask ourselves how to make the world a better place. Although it isn't as easy as it sounds, it is a very important thing for humanity. Have you ever wanted to make an impact on the world? Of course you have. Everyone wants to. Everything we see around us is because of society developing and improving. All of that is thanks to no other than education. You may not believe me when I say education doesn't only help people, it also helps nations. It helps promote poverty reduction and health. I want to share an interesting fact with you all. The first word in the word Quran is Iqra, which means read or educate. Education. You may think that it's boring and unimportant, but that's the complete opposite. Education is about obtaining knowledge and abilities that will aid us in navigating life, not merely memorization of facts and figures. It teaches us how to speak clearly, analyze critically, and work out issues. It provides us with the resources we need to make wise decisions and benefit society. When you are educated, it aids to many better things. It helps us differentiate the difference between bad and good. With hard work, we can not only become better citizens, we can also get better paying jobs and encourage better lifestyles. Education helps us grow. Yes, education is very important, but not everyone has the chance to become educated. People who live in impoverished areas don't have the luxury of receiving education, and that is a growing issue that we don't stress enough about. Many people are severely affected by this issue. For example, in sub-Saharan Africa, more than 32 million children are uneducated. How can we help these people and people like them to get their fair share of education? For starters, We can visit the areas that lack education and select the best candidate who has the talent and potential to become educators, and train them and give them the proper tools and skills to go back and teach others. Another way is to go to these areas and set after-hour schools. As we know, during the day, they help their families, so we don't disrupt the day. These are just some of my ideas, and I encourage us all to think of ways to solve this problem. As Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So let's all hold our hands and make the world better together. In the end, we all deserve equal rights. Thank you.
Thank you. Education is the most powerful weapon indeed. That was Haya Al-Hekma. Next is a speech by Latin Al-Muhammadi. The speech title is Pollution, and Latin is coming from Advanced Generations International School. She's giving her speech at Al-Hekma University. Please welcome her with me.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Latina Mohammed. I'm from Advanced Generation International School, and I feel delighted to be selected to give a speech on pollution. In this speech, I will try my level best to explain to you all what pollution is, its effects, and how it can be controlled. Pollution is one of the greatest challenges the world is facing today. Pollution not only affects the environment, but also produces diseases that will kill all living creatures. It is also very important that children from an early age should know about pollution and the effect it has on the environment and their lives. There is no one in particular we can blame for the increase in pollution except you as human beings. We humans are responsible for the increase of pollution in the environment. As we all know, there are three kinds of pollution, and those are air, water, and soil pollution. So how can we correct it? How can we make sure we don't exploit nature? As a community, it is our sole responsibility to fight against pollution by using eco-friendly things. Pollution of any kind cannot be eliminated completely, as it can be controlled. We can overcome pollution by taking small measures in our day-to-day lives. We should be aware of small preventive measures that could help in controlling pollution. Do not put domestic waste near the water bodies. Instead, throw the garbage at the garbage disposal site. Avoid using vehicles as pollution. To conclude this speech, I want to say that everyone has a negative impact on the environment, animals and human lives. We as humans should take important steps for a better future. A lot of innocent lives are lost in nature because of pollution. So we should take part in an initiative to fight and control the problem. Together we can control pollution. Thank you for listening.
Latin, everyone has an impact on teams.
Everybody. Okay, ladies, some of you are going to be speaking because you want to be that's okay with us. Let me just say that I am so proud of you. MashaAllah, you're so young, yet you're still productive. You have the guts to come and present in front of audience, and it's not just us, it's an audience that this has been broadcasted to people all over the world. So whoever has been recorded, she was heard by people all over the world. MashaAllah. And you're great. And
But thanks a lot of courage. Yes.
Yeah, you should be proud of yourself. But you're still young and you still need to work on other skills. Inshallah, you will do that. Still have the senior years, the university years.
But at this stage, you should be proud of yourself, you should be proud of your teachers, you should be proud of your schools. And إحنا at Al-Hekma here, we're so proud that we're having you as our guest. Okay? طيب. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is so wonderful to see you all here on the field today. I am Lady Tyler from the Dutch Generation School. We're all gathered here today to share our ideas of helping make the world a better place. By doing so, it is important that we know that healthcare is one of the most crucial things we human lives, something everyone should be entitled to. Al-Hekma said, "It is health that is real wealth, not pieces of gold and silver." But why is healthcare so important? People are far more in danger when they lack access to healthcare. Without the right assistance and care, illness, malnourishment, and childbirth can all escalate to extremely dangerous levels. However, even with the vital need for healthcare, in some countries, healthcare is too expensive or can be accessible. According to the KFF polls, American families are suffering because of the high expense of healthcare. These expenses are among the biggest financial concerns. The KFF polls show that almost half of American adults report having trouble paying for their health care. Significant percentages of people 65 and older say they have trouble affording certain components of their medical treatment. Many times, the expense of healthcare prevents people from receiving necessary care and from completing their prescriptions. Expensive healthcare can lead to untreated mental disorders. And if they are left untreated, the consequences of mental illness can have devastating effects on individuals and society. Untreated mental illness can lead to means instability, unemployment, substance abuse, homelessness, inappropriate imprisonment, suicide, and poor quality of life. Several of the world's poorest nations also have severe doctor shortages. These nations are struggling with a number of epidemics, including HIV/AIDS. Several of them experience civil unrest, governmental corruption, and natural disasters like starvation and drought. Due to the improper management of the effects of economic progress, financial resources are dispersed unfairly. A good healthcare system needs financial support, which is sometimes overlooked, as well as human resources management. Healthcare needs to be more accessible as it is a crucial part of this injustice can't stay overlooked. And change takes one voice because when millions of people think that excuses will change the world, it only continue to get worse. Thank you. My name is Al-Hekma from ATS. The educational value. The topic bestowed upon us was shared ideas to make the world a better place, which is a good thing. But have anyone's actually stopped to think how these ideas formulate? Why would we understand such a complex concept? How do we get the information we need to come up with these ideas? It all starts with the foundation of our understanding. The one thing most fortunate people have in common is access to higher knowledge. Education is the baseline for personality development, socialization skills, and globalteacher.org claims that school isn't the only area of learning, which suggests that people could learn by interacting with others, life experiences, and etc. My name is Hannah Khan, and today I am going to report and enlighten each and every one of you about the importance of education and how we can weaponize it to improve the world. How does education influence the development of critical ideas? Well, education is the format of which ideas develop. I know how that might sound, but yeah, let's pretend you took time for human resources management. You just start hiring employees without having made a background check on them. It's the same with acquiring educational ideas. Because are you going to come up with a new thought without knowing the basics? Are you going to talk about something you know nothing of? Education is a vital part of fundamental proposition. And without it, there is no basis to your persuasion. Furthermore, if you would like to go in another direction, it's been shown that education can prevent poverty. For example, UNESCO conducted a report that claims if 171 billion people learn to read, they would all be out of poverty. Education varies. Education isn't always basic school knowledge. It includes learning social norms, which helps you create a bond and speak with someone in a more meaningful manner, to help you develop judgment and reasoning skills that help in the handling of you. Learning how to socialize helps hone communication skills so world leaders can talk to each other in a civil manner. The goal of educators is to teach students to contribute to society and navigate their own lives. How ways to supply education? Well, according to UNICEF, internationally, 264 million people don't complete school. Most children and adolescents are immersed with family and environment contexts. Others are missing school because of poverty, discrimination, etc. If you want to help, join UNICEF by providing learning opportunities such as delivering toys for kids under puberty and recreational equipment for children and adolescents. UNICEF supports learning programs and ultimately strives to help the community. In summary, education is a vital and valuable part of the development of the world. Knowledge is the source for idea making. So you can say education is the way to help the world. This was Hannah Khan. Thank you for listening.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Khadija. I'm from AGS, and today we are all on the road to find a new and better world, which we all deserve. I would be honored to converse and share my ideas with you all. As the world advances and evolves, the constant need to succeed, thrive, and shine is further reduced. This unspoken expectation is instilled in all of us, regardless of our age, gender, religion, etc. This constant pressure is applied on all of us without regards. Constant pressure is instigated on all of us without considering its effects on us, either positive or negative. These effects are going to cause inevitable repercussions to not only the person themselves, but to others around them. This may remind you of a plastic bag that can only hold so much weight. If too much pressure is added, then the bag will become defective. Hypothetically, the plastic bag knew how much it can hold and knew the consequences of what would happen if too much pressure was added. In this case, the plastic bag was too timid to speak up for itself, which resulted in its defection. However, if the plastic bag had spoken up for itself, the circumstances would have been different. Let's not refer to a plastic bag from your local supermarket and look at the bigger picture. This shows us that knowing your boundaries is an instinct instilled in all human beings. The only difference is whether or not you know how to act upon them. Corresponding to the previous idea, speaking up for yourself is crucial, yet it is not as dominant as speaking up for others and what we believe in. A distinguished example for this can be the Protect Hindu Neighbors, a call to Muslim speech given by Muhammad Ali Jinnah on January 9, 1948, where in this speech, Muhammad Ali Jinnah claims restore trust and confidence amongst all communities. What the message he was trying to convey here is that we should maintain trust and equality, even though we might have different backgrounds, different cultures, different religions, and we should reinstate important ethics such as honesty and dependability. To summarize, I think that voices are important and everyone's voice matters. Your voice matters. The important thing is not to let yourself become silenced, because that prevents you from entering a true democracy, where each voice is valued in a peaceful manner.
Each voice has value also. Voices can be passion and excitement. It can be anything from a feeling to an idea and even a place. Voices are superpowers if you know how to use them. Now we're all going to walk out of this room today and know how to use our voice for a better world. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Dana. Here on this stage, I will be explaining and pointing out solutions to the world's most vital and crucial issues. We must try to decrease the amount of issues we have today in order to make our world domestically free. We want to consider the main factors and problems in our lives that can be found all around us. For instance, when we're looking at our environment, water usage, the decrease in natural resources, and deforestation are just some components that result in climate change. But if you take a look around, you'll understand that we are the change, and we need to take care of one another. This is why we need to reduce poverty, execute world hunger, tear down inequality, and socialize more. We must act. Put yourself in their shoes. Our environment depends on us, so we come first. Money is the reason most people are living under a roof and food has been filling their stomach. You probably haven't heard that the UN Global Compact has stated that over 700 million people from around the world lives in poverty and cannot even afford a bed. Just imagine how scared they must be at night, or how much damage it caused them to feeling weird. After the COVID-19 pandemic, the number of people facing a food crisis have increased to 265 million. This was told by an agency named Al-Hekma. That's almost 7 times the population in our country, Saudi Arabia. In order to aid the innocent citizens, we can donate to charities or known organizations such as the United Nations. Furthermore, the environment we live in has a great mission in our lives. Treat it like how you want to be treated. Some countries haven't been considering this phrase as vital to our lives. Deforestation is the fundamental issue. It's the act of removing forests and living organisms and replacing them with a source of pollution such as factories. Taking away producers like trees increases the quantity of carbon. An increase of carbon causes the earth to warm up. When the earth warms up, icy environments tend to melt away, and so do these animals. There are millions of other repercussions that climate change can cause. And to solve it, it's by planting more plants, using less water, conserve less energy, reduce, reuse, recycle, and so on. The Willow Project fits the wildlife too. This project aims to drill oil from a natural and untouched land of the wild. This means that wildlife living in Alaska, where the project is being held, will suffer and cause lots of pollution in the hands of the government looking for oil. This is why many people, including me, are protesting against it. Now help us all in all this. Thank you for your time.